Imagine this. You wake up one morning, everything seems normal. Like any other day, nothing feels different. You eat your breakfast, you go outside, the world feels safe, predictable. But then, you accidentally steal one piece of bread. Just one. Maybe you were hungry, maybe you didn't even think. And for that, they cut off both your hands. Just like that. No second chance, no mercy. Yeah, history was not kind to people. Not kind, not fair, not human. And today, we are going to look at the most brutal, painful, horrifying punishments humans ever created for other humans. The kind of pain you can't even imagine until you try. And trust me, by the end of this video, you will be very thankful you were born today, because this could have been you. So buckle up, because this gets dark. Very dark. Let us start with something that will make your stomach turn. The kind of thing that stays in your mind long after this video ends. This punishment was invented by the ancient Persians, and it is called scaphism. Even the name feels wrong. Now, before I explain this, I want you to take a deep breath, because this is genuinely one of the worst things one human has ever done to another human. And the scary part, it was done calmly, deliberately. So here is how it worked. They would take a prisoner, strip them completely, no dignity, no control, nothing left, and trap them between two hollow pieces of wood, like a sandwich, but not the kind anyone survives. Their arms and legs were sticking out. They couldn't move, they couldn't escape. Imagine trying to move and realizing you can't. Then, they would force feed the prisoner huge amounts of milk and honey. At first, it almost feels kind. Sounds nice, right? Wrong. This is where it begins. This caused extreme diarrhea inside the boat while they were stuck, trapped in your own body with no way out. Then they poured more honey all over the prisoner's body, face, eyes, everywhere. You can't even close your eyes. You can't even breathe properly. And then they left them, floating on a pond or swamp, alone, completely alone. The insects came immediately. You hear them first, then you feel them. They would eat the prisoner from outside and inside. For days, sometimes weeks. Every second feels longer than the last. Every moment, endless. The prisoner would not die fast. That was the whole point. They didn't want death. They wanted suffering. The most famous person who died this way was a Persian soldier named Mithridates. He survived for 17 days. 17 days of pure torture. Try to imagine 17 minutes. Now stretch that into days. History says he went completely insane by day 3. His mind broke, long before his body did. And that was just punishment number 1. And somehow, it gets worse. Now let us travel to ancient Rome, a place people admire, even today. One of the greatest civilizations ever built. Beautiful architecture, great philosophers, amazing engineering, and a very dark side, hidden beneath all that greatness, and absolutely horrifying punishments. In Rome, there was a special group of women called Vestal Virgins. They were priestesses, sacred, holy, respected, trusted by everyone, seen as pure. They had one job, just one job: keep the sacred flame burning and remain pure. One mistake and everything ends. But if they broke their vows, the punishment was something that makes me genuinely uncomfortable to describe, because it feels too real. They were buried alive. Not killed, buried. But not just thrown in a hole. No. Rome was more creative than that. More civilized. They would build a small underground room, put a small bed inside, a lamp, a little bit of food, some water. Just enough to delay the inevitable. Just enough to survive a few extra days. To think, to panic, to realize. Then they would seal it. Completely. No air holes, no escape. The moment you understand, this is it. And the worst part? Everyone in Rome would watch, watching, and doing nothing as the ground was sealed, as the sounds from inside slowly got quieter and quieter and quieter, until there was nothing left, and nobody was allowed to cry. Nobody was allowed to mourn. Not even grief was permitted, because Rome said this was the will of the gods, or maybe just the will of humans. Over 10 Vestal Virgins died this way, just for being human, just for making a mistake, like anyone could. Part 4. Brazen Bull. Greek genius gone wrong. Ancient Greece gave us so many wonderful things: democracy, philosophy, the Olympics, mathematics, and also the Brazen Bull. A man named Perilos approached the ruler of ancient Sicily. His name was Phalaris. Perilos Perlos was a metalworker, and he had a gift. He had built a life-size bronze bull, hollow inside, with a small door on the side. He told Phalaris, "Put a prisoner inside, lock the door, then light a fire underneath. The bronze would heat up, slowly. The prisoner inside would, well, you can imagine." But here is the truly disturbing genius part. Perlos had designed a pipe system inside, connected to the bull's nose. The sounds from inside would come out as the bull was mooing, so the crowd outside would hear the bull, not the prisoner. Phalaris loved the idea. He wanted to test it immediately, so he put Perlos inside, the inventor himself, as the first test. Sometimes in history, justice works in very strange ways. Part 5. Hanged, drawn, and quartered. England's worst. Now we go to England, and a punishment so brutal that even describing it requires a warning. This was called hanged, drawn, and quartered, and it was reserved for the absolute worst criminals, traitors to the king. Here is what happened. First, they were dragged through the streets on a wooden frame, through mud, through rocks, through angry crowds. Second, they were hanged, but not until dead, just until almost dead. Third, they were cut down, still breathing, still conscious. And then, I will say this carefully, their insides were removed while they were still alive and burned in front of them. And finally, their body was cut into 4 pieces and sent to 4 different corners of the kingdom as a warning. The last person to receive this punishment in England was in 1782, not ancient times, 1782. The scary thing about history is how recently some of these things happened. Part 6. Lingqi, the 1,000 cuts. Ancient China was one of the most advanced civilizations in human history. Art, science, medicine, paper, printing, gunpowder, and Lingqi. Lingqi translates to slow slicing, or more commonly known as death by 1,000 cuts. This punishment was used in China from around 900 AD all the way until 1905. That is over 1,000 years of this punishment being legal. The idea was simple and absolutely terrifying. The execution would last as long as possible. The prisoner would not die fast. That was not the goal. The goal was complete humiliation, complete suffering, and a very slow ending. The prisoner's body would be slowly reduced, piece by piece, cut by cut, and the executioner was a professional, trained specifically to keep the person alive as long as possible. In 1905, China finally banned it. After photographs were taken and shown to the world was horrified, and for the first time, international pressure stopped a punishment. Sometimes progress comes too late, but at least it comes. Part 7. The Judas Cradle. Our final punishment today comes from medieval Europe, and it is called the Judas Cradle. This device was simple, just a metal pyramid shape, pointed at the top. The prisoner would be lifted by ropes and slowly lowered onto it. The point of the pyramid was designed to, you know what, I think you understand without me explaining further. The worst part was the slowness. It could last hours, sometimes days, and the device was never cleaned between prisoners. So if the device itself didn't finish you, the infection definitely would. Medieval Europe really had a unique creative energy when it came to suffering. And with that, I think we have covered enough for one day. So there you have it. 7 of the most brutal punishments ever created by human beings. For other human beings. Scaphism, buried alive, rat torture, the brazen bull, hanged, drawn, and quartered, Lingqi, the Judas Cradle. Now I want you to think about something. Every single person who created these punishments thought they were right. They believed they were doing the correct thing, maintaining order, serving justice, which makes you wonder, what are we doing today that future generations will look back on in horror? That is a question I will leave with you. If this video made you deeply uncomfortable, good, it should. History is not comfortable, and Sacred Chaos is not here to make you comfortable. We are here to show you the truth, no matter how dark it gets. If you want more videos that will make you question everything you thought you knew about history, subscribe to Sacred Chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Stay curious, stay uncomfortable, and remember, we are all just one bad century away from living in these stories.